Hey, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Blue Gamer Bluecast morning show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30 plus year video game playing veteran. I don't know. I always question myself on that. But no, it is August 21st, 2024, the day after August 20th, which was yesterday. No, but I was playing some Black Myth Wukong to kind of show that off. I've played more since then, so I kind of give my I guess some more early impressions. I don't think I can do a full review yet, but pretty close actually, considering how much I've played. Also, and I totally forgot about this until it happened, even though I knew it was happening. Gamescom. So Jeff Keighley, I guess, and I don't know the background on this. This is stuff I should know because I'm following this, but it's like he now does the Gamescom, or I wonder if it's more of because he's a host type. He was contracted by the Gamescom team to kind of like, hey, we could pay you to do this like you do with your video games live or whatever it's called. Anyway, I like watching that stuff, but this one, it was interesting. Like this happens sometimes when it's like, I don't know if I should watch it. And then when I see what happens, it's like, oh, okay. So what am I getting at? Yeah. So basically, while there was some cool announcements at a Gamescom, it was really all just a bunch of trailers. It was really, and from what I got out of it, just very advertising heavy, which that's kind of what this has to be. If you think, once you get to a point where Jeff Keighley is involved, that means there is money at stake. There's kind of a tone at stake. And you hire Jeff Keighley for that sort of thing. So he's able to get the right type of sponsors. And he puts on that 4-quadrant family friendly show. Not that that's what we all need, but I wonder when it comes to video games, like what are showcases or events that are 4-quadrant versus what are ones that really should just be focused on the gamer. And that's kind of what I think a lot of people are feeling nowadays. There's less like showcases and events that are really focused on the gamer, and it's more focused on marketing to everyone. Like, hey, everyone, there's all these games. Because there was a lot of, out of this Gamescom, there was a lot of trailers that had no gameplay. And that was so annoying, where it would just go on and it's setting up the story and the plot. And it's like, it's like, I wonder, it's this like thought process, and it could be just me, but it's like, a lot of times a game is shown off, but the mechanics, the actual fundamentals of what you're interacting with is not shown on display. It's like, here is the world. And it's like, well, since the first contact, with the game using the controller is the main point of playing, shouldn't that be the pitch? But I think it's the other way around. I think because sometimes the gameplay can just be what's mainstream 4-quadrant gameplay. But then you try to make it, well, then let's make it where it's a story that we can get people to buy into that. And that's kind of an example of when you see an industry, or you kind of see this sort of consistent, it's more about pushing the story or the world or the IP than it is about, here's this new gameplay. But at Gamescom, we did see some cool new gameplay, so we'll look at that. Real quick, what did I play yesterday before we get into the Gamescom stuff? Did I do this wrong? Let me press this. Yeah, there we go. So Black Myth Wukong, let me get to that in a second. I'm going to start from Call of Duty. Really, I was just downloading it because it's on Game Pass. So then my son downloaded it to play. I had uninstalled it, so I installed it again. I didn't get to play it because it's interesting how huge the download is. I think you guys know about that, right? Like the Call of Duty download sizes are huge. Luckily, you get to choose, like on Xbox, what you want to download. I don't remember if Steam allows for that, but anyway, it allowed it to where I think the download total was 35 gigabytes instead of like the 160, just for the multiplayer. But anyway, I didn't play Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, but I think that was just on the Xbox when my son got on. Okay, Black Myth Wukong. So this is where I spent most of my time. So between when the game got released, which was Monday night, until about last night, I put in nearly 3 hours. So let's talk a little bit about Black Myth Wukong real quick, just to kind of give you my thoughts on it. It is a good game, actually, and it's a game that I think is worth paying a full price retail for a game. Even the 3 hours I played, there's enough I saw where I'm like, "This is good," because it is the essence of what I like from these combat style games. As soon as you load up Black Myth Wukong, you're immediately put into situations where you can get into gameplay combat. This game is not about exploring and traversing, even though it has that. That's just the means to each encounter. Um, even though it is open to a degree where it does feel like there's a degree of exploration. So that's what's very interesting about this. And I think what helps is there's no map. And I was almost complaining about that yesterday, but I want to say no map helps because it does make it feel bigger. I think if because of how linear the game is, if I was playing with a map, it would just be way, way, way more simple, easy, linear. I would know where to go because I'm looking at the map. Because there's no map or mini map, I'm doing some exploration. I'm having to take mental notes along the way, and I think that really makes me more engaged with the game. So, if I was to make some complaints, and these complaints are more of, I think, dismissals of specific gameplay elements that I think sometimes tend to bog games down. So because there's no mini map, there's not a whole bunch of indicators anywhere. And it's really not about going around and this objective, that objective, picking up stuff. It's really about a kind of a straightforward path where there's a few enemies and then a boss battle. And I wouldn't even word it as boss battles. I would just say this game just has more encounters with just enemies with larger life bars. Because even I think most of the enemies, if not all of them, are bosses, and I've beaten more than 5, I was able to do on my first try. Excuse me, it's that morning phlegm. But not that the game is easy, or not that the game is hard, because even when you're doing the combat, it's you're having to and maybe not with the normal enemies, but when you're fighting the bosses, you really have to think about what your buttons you're pressing. You have to check your stamina gauge. I really like that it seems like in order to finish a combo, you still have to have stamina. So I could be wailing on the enemy and I'm watching my stamina meter go down. And at the end, if I'm completing a combo, it does that final hit. But I can continue attacking. Now, if the stamina meter goes all the way down, I can still attack. I just can't do that final hit. And then I also don't think I would be able to do that kind of after image dodge. I don't know. And that's the thing. Like, I don't feel like the stamina has held me back except for when it comes to doing that final attack that I need the stamina for of the combo. So really, when I'm just dodging around in the world, I don't feel like I'm being held back. I kind of love how the dodging works. I was showing it yesterday, how it's like you press the button and you dodge forward automatically, but then you can direct your dodge. So a lot of the game is the dodging. So if you dodge at the right time, you can do a follow-up attack. I consider that a parry. Even though you're not blocking, it's still the act of pressing a button at the right time to then get the enemy in a state where then you can do a follow-up attack. That's kind of how the parry works. So there's a lot of me, just you're dashing at the right time so then you can do the attack back. Let's see what else. There's the different powers you can use where you can like freeze the enemy. So far, I mean, it's a spell. And there's another one where you can turn into this like fire god dude. It's pretty cool. So this game offers different gameplay elements. So as you're fighting, you can choose, what should I actually utilize at this point? And this kind of allows you to get the breathing room for your stamina to refill. Because once it's refilled, you do have a lot of options there. So it's interesting. I feel like what works with Black Myth Wukong is it's a third-person combat game that doesn't feel like any other one that's been out yet. There's enough interesting, unique things, or it's a game that's been developed not necessarily in a vacuum, but where it's not trying to just copy everything. It's like it's gorgeous. The game is gorgeous, and the combat is its own unique thing that works. It's weird because it almost borders on being too simple for me. And the last thing I'll add, graphics. The graphics are incredible. Like out of all PC games I've played in the past, I don't know how long, this has been the most optimized and running near perfect. Oh, I saw a freeze just then. Um, but what's interesting is, unfortunately, and this could just be because my rig is now about 3 years old now, I can't hit a constant 60 FPS and 4K with ray tracing on very high. Yeah, that does sound pretty crazy demanding, but that's kind of like what I would like to be able to do. So, um, I have to have the ray tracing turned down to get 60, and even then, it's not perfect. But with the ray tracing, the game is like the best looking game I have seen. In fact, it's almost too good looking to where it's like you are playing a character while you're looking through pictures of high resolution images of a jungle. The problem is with the ray tracing, and that is there's such this super high contrast between the shadows and the light because of the ray tracing that sometimes it's hard to even really make out what's going on, especially if you're in real dense areas of tree lines or whatever, because it will pretty much just block out what I'm seeing. So the game looks better with ray tracing on, but it plays better with ray tracing off. So, and I can get the 120 FPS 4K with the ray tracing off, but it just looks so good turned on. That game looks so like I would say if you're going to show off the game or if you want to play and be immersed, ray tracing on for sure. Or I just need to get a better rig, but I'm not, nah. You know, in fact, what I would want to do, and this is what's crazy, GeForce Now is amazing. In fact, David Jaffe was streaming playing the game on GeForce Now, and ray tracing is on. Everything's on very high. He doesn't have to worry about his rig when he's streaming, where one, you're streaming this data that you're pulling from this game. It's like the computer doesn't have to work that way. And he's playing a combat game like that that has a lot of like, dodging and moving around, twitch mechanics that wasn't an issue for him. Like you're seeing him beat bosses using GeForce Now. And he's an older guy that even says that he's not that good at these games. So I think taking all that into account, it says like the latency when it comes to something like GeForce Now is there. And it's like streamers could use GeForce Now to play games at the highest quality and not worry about it impacting their stream. I think that's interesting. Anyway, yeah, let's move on now. Let's see. Oh yeah, looking in chat, good to see everybody. Indie is only a timed exclusive now. Yeah, that is great. In fact, that is the best thing we can have going on for the games industry. I am so glad stuff like that is happening. More opportunity for more people to play more games, more opportunity for developers to recoup costs on game sales, and just more ways to play games. I'm all about that. I'm so glad that they made that announcement. Okay, let's see here. I want to talk about some of the Gamescom stuff. Okay. Let me show that on screen. Every game and series announced and shown at this year's event so far. But I mean, it's over. So, well, actually, it's not really over. That first day is over. And they started with the Borderlands 4 reveal trailer, which I don't care. Unfortunately, I've played the games to where I'm kind of over them, unless this thing does something new. But I'm just mad at what Gearbox had done to the Aliens Colonial Marines game. Long story. I'll move on. Dying Light, the Beast. So it's a new Dying Light game. It's so funny because I remember Dying Light 2 came out right when I got my the gaming PC I have, and Dying Light 2 is okay. I didn't really play too much of it, and already we're getting this new one, the Beast. Civilization 7, very cool. I've never fully been into these types of games. I kind of prefer the more like RTS, more tactical ones. So yeah, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So yeah, it's coming out December 9th. Awesome. It will be on PS5 next year. But I mean, I already have Game Pass. I would rather play something like Indiana Jones on my PC. So I'm excited that December 9th, I'll be playing this game. But I'll also say it doesn't look like what I want out of an Indiana Jones game. But I'm still going to give it a chance and play it. And I think I'll have fun. What I want more out of an Indiana Jones game is a mechanically themed Indiana Jones game and not a lot of the narrative, but I know a lot of what makes Indiana Jones is story and narrative, and a lot of people are looking for that. Marvel's Rivals release date, December 6th. I might try it out since it's free, but I don't know. All right, Amazon Prime Video's Secret Levels trailer. So this was an awesome surprise. So a couple things. Tim Miller, the guy behind a lot of what Blur Studios did, which was like revolutionize CGI, video games, movies. He's the one that created that Deadpool prototype video that was used and then leaked to try to get Deadpool made, and it did. So that's an achievement of Tim Miller's that we cannot forget. He also made Sonic, the movie, which I'm a huge Sonic fan, and a lot of these, when you get these games to movies, they don't work right. How would you do it with Sonic? Well, Sonic actually did a good job. I was afraid I was going to be offended by it, but I wasn't. I liked it. I liked the second one. And then, it reminds me how Tim Miller was also working with Ryan Reynolds on Deadpool 2. And then Ryan Reynolds didn't like the direction Tim Miller was going, which was just more of Deadpool 1. Ryan Reynolds wanted it to be more of a comedy. So, however that happened, Tim Miller left Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 came out to be what it was. I think it was a mistake. I think Tim Miller staying on would have been better. Anyway, what's cool about this, though, is it's kind of like his Love, Death, and Robots, where it's a bunch of different stories, but it's video games. So they were showing things from like Space Marine. What was the other game? And we can look here real quick, actually, there's Space Marine right there, which is badass. Knowing Tim Miller is doing this. Some games I probably don't recognize and maybe should. That almost looked like a Gundam, but that's not a Gundam, probably. God of War was right there. I think we saw the Doom guy. It's Keanu Reeves. Oh, and that's supposed to be Ace Combat. So anyway, what's just cool is that there's this neat show coming out that's stories from video games. I love that idea, especially that Tim Miller's doing it. All right. Jam Kill X Mega Man was in there. Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah, it has a list right here. Armored Core, Concord, Crossfire, Dungeons and Crossfire, that's weird. They probably paid for that. Exodus, Honor of Kings. Yeah, I bet that's, like an ad. Mega Man, New World, Pac-Man. A PlayStation, oh, that's cool. So various things. So this could kind of help with that Astro game coming out, Astrobot. Spelunky, The Outer Worlds, Unreal Tournament. Very cool. I mean, that's like such a great idea. Mafia, the Old Country. So pretty cool. Another open world game in the Mafia franchise, but it's neat that it is this old country. Early 1900s, apparently, which, again, this is another example of they just have a CGI trailer and there's no gameplay. I mean, I get it. It's announcing, but like you can announce something by just like tweeting, hey, this game's coming out. And then when you show it off, show the game. But I like the idea, the setting that it's in. That's going to be very different from other open world games. So, yeah. Masters of Albion. So this is, what's his name's? Peter Molyneux. Yeah, Peter Molyneux's new game coming back. Hopefully it's good because he's coming back to PC and it's an RTS. It could be good. Dune Awakening. Oh yeah, this is the one that's not the RTS, right? It's the like open world survival game, which actually looks really cool. I mean, look, the building that's going on in there, that'd be neat. It's just like, do you want to be part of that world or whatever? Batman Arkham Shadows VR trailer. So this one also looks cool, because I got my MetaQuest recently and they have a Batman Arkham game on there, but it's very much you just stand in one place. This one looks like it has a little more to it. Like, look at that combat right there. And the walking around. So I hope it's like, and it looks like it is like the Half-Life Alyx walking around, where it's legit you are walking around. So I think there's so much that could be done with VR to make you feel like a certain character. Seems like they're getting there. Monster Hunter Wilds, Lost Records, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. The campaign gameplay looked cool. It looked very linear and handholdy, but it just looked like some cool action, like an action movie. The Goat Simulator Remastered. Watch this trailer if you haven't. It's hilarious. I don't know if I would play that though. Okay, so I want to see there was more than that was announced. Am I missing something? Let's go to this. Yeah, because Enjoy. Yeah, this looked pretty interesting. Is it called Enjoy? So it's like a simulator, I guess. It's like Sims, but hyper realistic. Okay, this is the one I was looking for. Sniper Elite Resistance. I am so happy that they announced a new Sniper Elite game. I thought they were going to actually announce a new zombie game before the Sniper Elite game. But that's okay. I love Sniper Elite 5. I played all the DLC maps. It's not many times I do that with games, but Sniper Elite 5, 100%. Can't wait for this new one, and it looks like it's a little different. And I don't know, I don't know if it's gonna be like it. The trailer almost made it try to show you that it's a complete open world game. Sniper Elite 5 has always done it where it is open world, but there are open world zones and sections, like Sonic, what was it? Sonic Frontiers open zone, Hitman open zone. There's games that have done the Crisis, I think, is another good example. So curious if they decide to change it and make it to where it is one big open world map. Although I would prefer not, because the one thing I liked about Sniper Elite 5 in the way it did its open world is because there's multiple zones, sometimes they would look completely different. You'd have nighttime in the snow in the mountains, or you'd have morning on the coast of a beach. But that's just one area, but like the whole map kind of had that theme. So I'll be curious to see what they do here. Yeah, Black Ops 6 again, Persona 3, Dragon Ball, Sparking Zero, Dying Light, The Beast, or Dark Pictures Anthology, Infinity Nikki, Arc Raiders, Path of Exile 2, King of Meat, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. I am shocked how much this game gets pressed, but I'm actually happy it is. I mean, this game doesn't come out until next year, and IGN has character videos already pushing out. Like they even pushed something out during Gamescom, which is great because Mark of the Wolves was the last. I don't really. It's like I play a lot of fighting games. I don't really know the details behind them. So Fatal Fury, Mark of the Wolves. Yeah, Gero, Mark of the Wolves, or something like that. I think it's in the same vein, I guess. I don't know, the same line, because there's Fatal Fury, there's King of Fighters, and then there's the Fatal Fury Wolves stuff. I don't know. Anyway, I'm hyped for that. Mecha Break. This looks like something I would totally want to play. I was in the open beta. Every time I would launch it, I couldn't get it to run. Let's see. And there's going to be an Xbox closed beta. That's cool. Yeah, I do want to try it. I love mech stuff, but sometimes mech games don't really feel like a mech, and they just feel like character action. Reanimal. Pretty neat. Some Genshin Impact stuff. Naraka Blade Point having Lara Croft in it. That's interesting because they keep pushing this game, and I tried it, and it's like okay. I couldn't get much further into it. They did some sort of Gundam collaboration. They had one of the mechanical designers of the original Gundam create some mecha for that. Starfield got some vehicles, if that's something you're into. Oh, Monument Valley 3, interesting. I guess I didn't see that. Oh, yeah, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. I am pumped about this. I even ended up, if you saw my video yesterday, I showed the first one. I got a second one. These things are so sick, and they're fully articulated. So these aren't like miniatures or statues or anything. These are fully articulated action figures. Okay. What was that secret level thing? Oh, Towerborn. So I was hoping this would be out already. Yeah, September 10th is soon, but then it's like it's still early access. And you know my take on early access stuff. That is too bad. I thought this game was already going to be done and we were going to be playing it by now. That's the thing. Like sometimes, and I brought it up before, early access sometimes ruins the end result for me. Age of Mythology Retold. I would be down to playing this because I had the original Age of Mythology and I never played it. Like I installed it and started it. And this was like so long ago, but never really. Actually, I still have it. I think after it was the box version, I think I got a key on Steam or something. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Little Nightmares 3, Squid Games Unleashed. That's neat that they're making that game on that. Indiana Jones The Great Circle, Mafia Old Country, the first Berserker, Kazan. It's neat because this seems like it'd be something cool, but it just looks like everything else, you know? So I can't wait to get more information about it. That's the thing. A lot of times these games, it's more closer to release. It's like, okay, here's a game that's going to be coming out soon. Let me learn a little more about it to see if it seems like it's something I would want. Although it's funny, that happened with Redfall. So it seemed like Redfall was not going to be that great. And then right before it got released, there was these weird previews of people saying, wow, this game plays like this and this. And then the game dropped and it was nothing like that. That was kind of a weird thing. But I think that's where you need to do your marketing the heaviest about details of a game is right before it releases. Diablo 4 stuff. World of War, The War Within. I think they meant to say Warcraft, right? Yeah. Unknown 9 Awakening. This looks neat, but this looked just like that other game that I already forgot the name of. I want to know the name of the game so bad, and it's a Bandai Namco game. Actually, let me do a little search. Bandai Namco, 2023 releases, because this was a game that came out last year. Unless it wasn't Bandai Namco, but I'm pretty sure it was. Wow, why am I forgetting the game? You know, it was that game where you were a girl and it was like in the desert and you're running around. Because that's like exactly what this looks like. But Unknown 9 Awakening, that's an interesting name. Rogue New Type, the lore of Warhammer is interesting. I like it, but the art styling of the characters is not for me, not a fan. Yeah, there's something about the art styling where sometimes it looks like it's a cartoon. But the design is insane to me, like the armor types and all that. Chris is saying, I see Adam is an Ultramarine. You know what? I purposely bought, and here's the one, and I could be wrong about this though, but I bought the one that is in Space Marine 2, according to like the helmet and the pauldrons on the side. I don't know if it's super accurate, but and I wanted to get the Blood Angels at first because I was so used to playing Dawn of War so much. But yeah, that's the Gamescom. I mean, I'm going to say at the end of the day, the Gamescom stuff was a lot of nothing. And I don't know if I'm being a little too negative, but it's more of like, it's not really bothering me. It just wasn't that exciting. Again, it was a lot of like trailers and for things they did announce that were cool. Like for me, Sniper Elite Resistance, that's awesome, but that's not like amazing. What would be amazing is, I don't know, like if they did like Halo 7 and it looked like a proper Halo, like that is more what I'm looking for. Even though Sniper Elite is going to be fun, it's not the main thing. But anyway, I think that's it. Yeah, thanks for everyone that joined. Yeah, thanks, Chris, Rogue New Type, Jam Kill X. Let's see, some bots were in chat today. I didn't see Ultronomus, but I'm sure he's there in spirit. Yeah, so what's tomorrow? Oh, you know what? Tomorrow, I'm not actually going to have a live, but I will still have a video up because I actually have jury duty. Fun. So I'll have something in place though. I'll have something prepared. Yeah, but until next time, guys, be cool. We will talk later.